Now we're going to look for glossary words in Abraham Lincoln, lawyer, leader, and legend. I will read page 26 through 33, and you will write down 3 words that you're unfamiliar with, 3 words that you're not clear about their meaning. Listen as I read. On the move. Abe was elected to Congress, so the Lincolns moved to Washington, D.C. Abe saw slave markets in the country's capital. The Constitution said all men are created equal. How could people be sold like animals? Abe proposed a law to abolish slavery in Washington. The law did not pass, and Abe lost his second term. Ending slavery would not be so easy. Abe went back to Springfield, but soon joined the 8th Circuit Court. This traveling court brought justice to small towns, like the trials he had seen as a young man. Abe spent half the year sleeping on farmhouse floors or sharing beds in crowded taverns. Between cases, the lawyers joked, sang, and played cards. Abe could forget fancy manners and help simple folks. The caption says, the 8th Circuit Court served the entire state of Illinois. The judge, Abe, and other lawyers traveled 500 miles on horseback, and then on the newly built railroad. The work was challenging. The lawyers rode into town, found clients, and then presented their case right away. One time in New Salem, Abe was asked to defend an old friend named Duff, who was accused of murder. The witness claimed he saw Duff killed by the light of the full moon. But with an almanac, Abe proved the moon was just a sliver on that night, so the witness was lying. Duff was freed by nightfall. Fact book. An almanac is a book of information about a given year. It tells the time of sunrise and sunset for the year, as well as cycles of the moon. Farmers can use an almanac to predict the weather and to decide whether to plant crops. The caption at the top says, Abe has spent his whole life learning to speak. He was not a handsome man, and his voice was shrill. But when Abe spoke, the power of emotion shone in his eyes, and people were moved. Abe was a happy lawyer, but he wanted to help make sure slavery didn't spread into the new territory. So he ran for Senate. Abe gave a speech calling America a house divided. He said, this government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free. It will become all one thing or all the other. Abe's opponent was a famous politician named Stephen A. Douglas. Douglas saw no need to outlaw slavery in the new territory, since the land wasn't right for tobacco, cotton, or other slave crops. Abe thought Congress had to preserve the new states as a place for poor people to go and better their condition. Abe suggested a series of debates. The result was America's greatest duel of words. Abe lost the election, but won acclaim. Just as he had wrestled the strongest man in New Salem, Abe had battled a political giant and proved himself a man worth watching. And by forcing Douglas to take a public stand, Abe made slavery the issue of the day. The caption says, Douglas was a well-dressed, well-fed statesman who traveled to each debate in his own private railroad car. Abe arrived in the crowded public train and then rode a hay wagon to his hotel. The two candidates were as different as a purebred poodle and a farmyard hound. Just 2 years later, in 1860, the Republican Party chose Abe to run for president. Abe had helped form the new party, but did not expect this honor. Party politics. The Republican Party was created in Illinois in 1856. They favored rule by representation rather than direct vote. During Lincoln's time, there were several other political parties, including Democrat, Whig, and Constitutional Union. The Democratic Party was founded in 1830 on the principle of government by the people and equal rights for all. Created in 1836, the Whig Party opposed the Democrats until it dissolved in 1856. Originally, Whigs were those who supported the American Revolution. On page 33, it says that Springfield went wild. A Republican parade that passed the Lincoln House contained so many people it took 8 hours to pass the House. There were more than 2 candidates running for president that year. Abe received only 40% of the vote, but he won. However, Abe lost in every southern state. Newspapers raged against Lincoln's anti-slavery stance. They even urged the South to prepare for war. The caption says, election posters showing Abe with his running mate, Hannibal Hammond.